The National Information Technology Development Agency has provided an advisory to Nigerians to address the concerns on changes to WhatsApp terms of service and privacy policy, which took effect on the 15th of May 2021. Now, millions of Nigerians use WhatsApp platform for business, social, educational, and other purposes. WhatsApp will share the above listed information with the Facebook company. Account registration information, details on how users interact with others, mobile device information, internet protocol address, and so much more. Now, the Facebook team has confirmed that private messages shared on WhatsApp consumer versions are encrypted and not seen by the company. But the metadata, that is the data about the usage of the service, which is also personal information, is shared with other members of the Facebook group. Now joining me on News Central is corporate lawyer Dara Lalehi from Denton's ACAS Law. Lara, thank you so much for joining us on News Central now. So let's look at this very quickly. Do tech firms have any right to share user information without the consent of the user?
Well, ordinarily, no, except there's a lawful reason for this sharing of data. Actually, data can only be shared when there is a specific, legitimate, lawful purpose with the consent of the data subject. But when there is a legal obligation to share this data, then the consent of the data subject can be dispensed with. So in certain instances, data can be shared without the consent of the data subject, but ordinarily, no.
And so the instances you're talking about are typically those where there is some kind of search warrant or a court order, rather, that's given to them.
So maybe the Consumer Protection Agency, they need to investigate a company and they require details about employees. They, under a court order or warrant, they can do that. They can actually request for this personal data and receive it.
All right. So in the situation where WhatsApp users now find themselves, can they sue for damages or even intrusion or invasion of privacy in such instances, or even an instance where WhatsApp for now is sharing their data with a third party? Even though WhatsApp is a member of the Facebook family, it's still a third party to the user.
So this isn't actually what WhatsApp is doing isn't actually based on a legal obligation. So if they do share this data without the consent of the data subjects, then yes, the data subject can sue. And there is actually evidence, or there is a legal precedent for data subjects suing based on unauthorized disclosures of their personal data. There was a case with MTN and Godfrey Eneye. They had passed on his details to a third party, and he kept on receiving unsolicited text messages, and he took them to court and he won. He got damages for that. So there is a legal precedent, and without consent, the data subject can sue WhatsApp.
So this situation of sharing this information from the user often is monetized in terms of target adverts and things like that. And this conversation around users also benefiting from this has been around for a while. Do you think in the situation where these new terms of service and privacy have come out, can users try to press WhatsApp, not just WhatsApp, but any social media platform that they download, to also benefit from this third-party information that's given out to others and then is used to send targeted information to them?
So the users can benefit from it, but it all boils down to consent. Have they opted in to receive these services? In instances where they haven't opted in or been given the opportunity to opt in, then it's a problem. It becomes a problem. But to the extent that they opt in, they give their consent. And typically when you go into a website, or in fact, when WhatsApp updated their policies, you'd see like a checkbox. I consent to I consent to this, or please read the privacy policy. Once they opt in, then all the benefits that are attached to it, they can take advantage of. But where these benefits go beyond what WhatsApp is providing, and they start receiving messages from maybe Facebook instead, or even other third-party related companies, then they can't be said to have opted in. And if they decide to take it up, they will be successful, or there is legal precedent for them to be successful.
So what do you think of the advice that has come from the NITDA, which is that WhatsApp users in Nigeria should seek an alternative social media platform that offers more privacy. And it's interesting when you say this. WhatsApp is part of the Facebook family of apps. So you're not going to Facebook, it's likely going to be there. Instagram is also part of this family as well. What's your take on that advice?
I think you've pretty much said it all, because they're all the social media platforms are they're all related. But I think to the extent that what is being shared is the metadata, which is just gives information about trends of usage of WhatsApp. And it's not specifically, or as far as we know, core personal data, names, messages, contents of messages. To that extent, users need to be careful. But I would say study the situation and just be careful as you're sharing the messages, because there's really a limit to how much information you can keep private, especially in this digital age that we live in.
All right, Dara, thank you so much as always for joining us. We'll be seeing you some other time.
My pleasure.
And this is just one situation where it's so easy to just check that box. And when you do, you need to consider the terms and conditions. Many of us don't want to read them, but how much of your personal data are you giving out to social media companies? Think about it, because now data is power and it is money as well.